Hello, I'm Ravinder. I'm the Associate Project Manager for TMT. Please join me as we meet the TMT team. Welcome, Caty. Thanks for joining us. Tell us, please, about your own area of astronomical research.
Oh, my favorite topic. So I study the compositions of stars with the goal of trying to understand where the elements in the periodic table come from, how they're produced, when they're produced, what kinds of stars produce them, and what they tell us about the history of the universe. So when I was a child, my mother enrolled me in an all-about science book club. And every month I would receive a book in the mail addressed to me, and I felt I had to read it because it came to me. And every month it was a new topic. I discovered that I really loved the astronomy, and it's really those books that got my interest and kept my interest all of these years.
And for your research, which telescopes are you using?
Oh, anyone I could get my hands on. So that includes both large and small telescopes. The work I do, some of it involves fairly bright stars, for which small telescopes are fine. Some of it requires much larger facilities because the stars we really need to study are very, very faint. The particular concern in my research is that we have access to the right kinds of instrumentation. So in order to study the abundances of elements, we need to be able to detect and measure their spectral lines in the spectrum of a star. That generally requires fairly high spectral resolution. So these are instruments that break the rainbow of starlight into a wide rainbow with a lot of detail that we can see from point to point in the light. And we can identify and measure the strengths of individual spectral lines from individual elements. I work both in the optical part of the spectrum and in the infrared. We're finding a lot of interest right now in the infrared spectroscopy because it gives us access to elements that we cannot observe from the optical spectrum. For example, we're working on hydrogen fluoride, hydrogen chloride, both pretty scary molecules, but they form in the atmospheres of stars. And by studying the strengths of the features of those molecules, we can learn about the origin of chlorine and fluorine in the universe.
Do you in any way consider yourself to be a role model in terms of women in science and engineering?
Wow, yes. I can't help it. When I first started, there were very few women. And it's been wonderful over the years to see the increase in the number of women that are in the field. It's wonderful to go to a disciplinary meeting, a meeting of the American Astronomical Society, and see so many young women. And to understand the success they're having, the joy that they feel as being part of the field, the way that they interact with their colleagues is so much better now than it used to be.
Yes. In terms of the teaching duties and advisory duties that you have at your university, what advice do you give to undergraduates who perhaps are finishing up an undergraduate degree in the sciences or engineering who might be potentially interested in careers in astronomy?
We see the training that we provide as a special set of skills that students can get. Astronomy is amazing for that because it's so multidisciplinary that we need to know math, chemistry, physics, public communication. We need to be able to write. We need to understand electronic detectors. We need to understand mechanical systems. We need to understand software and computing in order to do astronomy. So our students get all of these skills.
Caty, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.